Good morning to everyone out there. So welcome to all of the new subscribers and all of those who have been with me for a while. I decided this morning that I would jump into a tea divination video and see how this goes. I've never done this on camera, so it's going to be a new experience. So this is my brand new divination cup from Witch Casket that I have not used yet. And I'm also going to use one of my homemade teas, which I keep in this cute little container. So in here I have two different kinds of roses. I have two different kinds of hibiscus, orange slices, a little bit of lemon verbena. I usually put a tad bit of mugwort in this, and so it's just kind of a happy, relaxing tea blend that I love using for my divination. There is not a lot of tea leaves in this particular blend. Usually you want some tea leaves in your tea readings. Okay, so let's go ahead and get my little strainer. This is my favorite kind. I've tried many different kinds, but this is the one that works best for me. The little spoon that you kind of scoop and clasp, that one I used for a long time, and it just got too much going in there. Whereas this one, it tends to just have, let me think of how to say this, less tea that you're drinking and more tea leaves that end up on the cup, if that makes any sense. Okay, so let me try to crunch up some of this so some of the bits can get into the mug. Just kind of feel how much. There's some good crunchy bits. I'll leave that there. Pieces that fly out are not meant to be, so I will leave that alone. Okay, so now let's add our steaming water from my little electric tea kettle. I'm going to pour it all the way up to the top, and I'm going to let it seep now so that all of those good flavors get blended in there. The big thing when you're doing this is you do want to set your intentions. I sat and meditated for a few minutes before hitting record, and so those intentions are already kind of present and focused right now. And as this is seeping, I thought that I would have a few words on divination. Of course, this is going to be my own particular viewpoint on it and how I work with divination tea readings for my own practice. When I want to focus on any kind of divination, whether it's a tea reading or tarot, or if I'm casting runes or casting any stones, if I'm doing any kind of root work, anything that I'm doing, energy work, any of that stuff, I always want to focus on the fact that divination is an art form. And as any form of art, the more we practice at it, the better we become. We all have some intuitive energy that we can tap into that is innate to being just a living being. And when we start to practice with our intuition, when we focus on it, we begin to understand what that art of divination is. So when one says that you are the magic, it means everything is already within you, right? So the study and the education, when we begin to focus on understanding our intuition, only provides like the logic, the reason, the ability to put that intuition, those instincts, the feelings into a language. Once we learn whatever art of divination we're focused on, everything else becomes a language of symbology, a language of emotional connection, a language of understanding kind of human existence, understanding ourselves, understanding the lessons that we've learned in our lived experience. So as everything in life, divination is just one tool to help us better understand ourselves, understand how we are growing in our life experience, and allowing us to kind of make connections to the way we feel about certain things, connections about how can I better explain this? Okay, so say that we have a goal, and some goals are easily moved through, or we can arrive to the achievement of the goal quicker, whereas other times we have this like resistance. So both of those are energies that we can begin to understand. The one that we move to easier that we succeed faster is something that we have confidence in. We feel secure in the information that we have that is applying to that goal. Whereas ones that we feel more we're struggling to achieve the goal, or say we have some kind of apprehension, maybe a little bit of procrastination, those goals, maybe we are feeling insecure. Maybe we don't feel that we understand what the end of that goal looks like. Or maybe it isn't something that we truly want. And so when we go into divination and we focus on any range of topic, we are allowing ourselves to see our interpretation of our energy. We are allowing ourselves to open up and kind of have like self-therapy in a way, where we can be honest with ourselves and feel fear, feel hesitation, feel excitement, feel joy. We can tap into our own energy and look at the symbology. Look at, say if it's tarot, we can look at the card that comes before us. Tarot is multi-layered. Every card has numerous different outcomes and meanings, and sometimes it can stand alone, and sometimes it needs confirmation cards or other tarot cards to help understand the story that the divination is trying to tell you. So that's all laid out. Tea readings, though, you really have to trust your intuition and the symbology. And it's going to be different for every single person, because when it comes to symbolism with divination, it is going to be unique to the person themselves, because the symbolism is focused on your interpretation on how you feel about whatever that is. So some people love red roses. Some people have a negative memory to red roses. So it is going to mean something different to every single person based on the experience they have with that symbol. So you kind of see how the symbolism is going to be unique to every single person, and the different types of divination give us different ways to tap into our intuition, tap into our self-awareness, and really ways to grow as a person. Okay, so it has now seeped for a little bit of time, and I'm going to now pinch out any moisture that is still in this blend with the back of my spoon. It's pretty easy. Let me just show you how I do that. And I'm going to let it sit for just a couple minutes. So here you could add honey or sugar or whatever it is that you would like to make it more enjoyable for drinking. I do tea readings 1 to 2 times a week, and I have grown to just enjoy the tea as it is, just that blend of herbs. And it should really be something that you enjoy. You don't want to force yourself to drink something you don't like, especially when it comes to a divination, because the energy that you are putting into the fluid is the answers that you're going to get. So you can see how the herbs are floating around. If you had more tea leaves, it would be, in my experience, a little bit heavier and they sink to the bottom. And so it just depends on the tea blend that you are using. So I'm going to kind of hang out. I'm going to read a book and enjoy the tea this morning as I'm listening to the birds outside and watching just like the morning unfold today. Okay, so I have now finished my tea, and I turn on the light to see if we can see this better. So as you can see, there's still some fluid in the bottom of the cup. The bits of the tea are not moving from this place. They're kind of telling me a story here. So I am going to go ahead and work on this reading. Okay, so what you want to do is look at the symbology that is in the mug and begin to see the way that the teas are clumped together in that area. The other thing that I'm going to do now is I'm going to flip the saucer over and then flip it over. That way any remaining tea that wants to be loosed can tell me more about this reading. So you want to make sure it's upside down for a few minutes to make sure that anything that wants to drop can drop, anything that's going to stay is going to stay. It kind of depends on you on how long to let this sit. I usually just wait for a moment and then I'm going to pull it back up. So now we have a more definite reading in the bottom of the mug. The clumps had truly stayed in that one area. And it's looking like it's focused on the moth. It looks like autumn leaves to me, but then also the scrolls. And you can see on this side, it's also looking at the moth, the leaf, the scroll. So there's kind of a theme going on in here with seasonal connection that I am right away picking up. Let me see what else I can see. All right, so it's focused mostly on season, elemental wisdom is what I'm getting right away looking at this. I'm gonna see what else I can feel about this. I'm also looking at the other symbols where nothing is touching to see if that has any relation to what is being touched by the herbs. It's kind of leaning towards a little cauldron and then the autumn leaves. It is completely covered the very bottom of the tea, and so there's something that is unseen, and that is going to be part of the divination and the way that I'm going to interpret it. It is not touching anything else, not the scrolls, not the crystal, not the little bug. It seems like it's almost completely covering up the moth and half of the hourglass. So let's go over to the dish. And what I can see right away in the dish is that the fluid has mainly stayed to one side only. It didn't go into the center of the cup, and it is equally balanced between two keys. And the two keys are opposite each other. So the balance of the fluid on the keys and the balance of the keys being up and down. There's none on the crystal that is in between it, which is interesting, but it is on nature. So I'm looking around at everything, and all of that fluid is focused over here, as you can see. That's really interesting. So I'm going to see this as a clarifier of what it is that I'm reading in the mug itself. So you can see how the mushroom's not touched, the moth isn't touched. It's mostly focused on those keys. And for me, keys are a symbol of wisdom and true insight, true understanding, and a lot of self-work. The key to everything is self. And so I'm feeling that right now between the saucer and the cup. It is really telling me about balance. That perhaps right now, as I'm going into summer, so as making this video, we are the last day of May going into the first day of June. So we're getting close to true summer. With the moth being covered, that this tea reading is telling me that perhaps it is time to not study so much and to focus on the things that I already know. So why is that the reading that I am getting? Mostly because the cauldron is kind of being leaned towards, but there's nothing touching the cauldron. So there's nothing that I need to create right now. There are two crystal balls on this side, and none of the tea are touching it. So there's nothing that I need to be working on in foresight, working towards, uncovering wisdoms. It feels as if it is saying that everything that I have to focus on right now is stuff that is already within me, things that I've already learned. And perhaps because it is touching a lot of nature and the moth, it is telling me that it is time to just enjoy nature around me. It is kind of equally balanced in touching the mushroom and the leaf directly across from it. Both of them are 50% covered. And what I really love is that the square of, I think it's like an orange, is actually perfectly covering the triangle of the bottom of the hourglass. So time is filled. It is time to enjoy and stop worrying about what is to come, to be in the moment now. So the moth is like light to the flame, enjoying the abundance that is around me right now. Let's not look into the future. Let's just enjoy the essence of the time now. Moving into night energy, moving into day energy with those mushrooms and moths. Earlier this year, I had picked up the mushroom book, and my life has not permitted me to go out into the woods to look for mushrooms. And so I have a real deep feeling that this is saying, let's do this now. So other than like basic work that I'm doing, the expos and other summer activities and my work, my free time, instead of pursuing new understandings, new books, just anything new, to enjoy what is already here around me, what I already have, what I already know, maybe put that into more activity, so bringing like knowledge into wisdom rather than it just being knowledge. So that's what I'm really feeling, and the saucer is just backing that up. As I said, it's not time to start new ventures. It is time to just enjoy what is within me already, to enjoy the season. I always feel when I am learning about something or exploring something, it's best to see someone just kind of go through the motions and doing it. And so that was kind of my hope for this. If anyone was looking to learn about this thing, or really, I just love sharing divination and sharing things that are witchy. And so whichever way that you're coming to this video, I hope that you get something interesting out of it. And I've just had a joy sharing it with you and kind of letting my brain kind of openly wander around. I should also note that at the time of this reading, I'm also still recovering from a really bad flu bug. And I just learned yesterday that I also have a mild case of walking pneumonia. And so that could also play into this reading about maybe taking it easy and not starting anything new just yet. So I should also take into account like the physical aspects of life and what's going on in my life right now. So I'm going to go ahead and close the video here. Hopefully you've enjoyed this and that you're having a beautiful day or night wherever you are. And if you could, like the video, subscribe to the channel, I'd really appreciate that. And I'll see you in the next video.